Crash landing on Nexus Prime, Commander Kai Reynolds fought against the controls of his rapidly descending spacecraft as warning lights flashed across every console. "Come on," he muttered through gritted teeth. "Not like this." The experimental warp drive had malfunctioned during the routine test flight, sending him spiraling through an uncharted sector of space. The small exploration vessel shuddered violently as it breached the atmosphere of an unknown planet, its hull glowing red-hot. From the friction, "Mayday, Mayday." Kai called into his communication system. "This is Commander Reynolds of the Earth Federation requesting emergency assistance." Nothing but static answered his desperate call. His fingers flew across the emergency protocols, trying to deploy stabilizers as the ground rushed up to meet him. The ship clipped the top of a crystalline forest, sending it into a wild spin before crashing into a clearing in an explosion of twisted metal and scattered debris. When Kai regained consciousness, he felt something cool pressed against his forehead. His vision cleared slowly, revealing a face hovering above his. A woman with striking features and skin. The color of lavender twilight studied him with intense curiosity. Her eyes shimmered like amethysts, catching the strange purple light filtering through what appeared to be a crystal dome. "He's awakening, Empress," said another voice somewhere beyond his field of vision. The purple-skinned woman pulled back slightly, her long silver hair cascading over ornate armor that seemed to pulse with internal energy. "Can you understand me, strange one?" she asked, her voice carrying an accent he couldn't place. Kai tried to sit up, realizing he'd been placed on some kind of examination table. "I understand you," he replied cautiously. "Where am I? Who are you?" "I am Empress Aya of the Nexian Empire," she replied with regal authority. "And you have crashed upon our sacred world, a place no outsider has seen for 10 generations. She circled him slowly, her movements graceful and measured. "What manner of creature are you? Your form is similar to ours, yet different." "I'm human," Kai explained, trying to assess his situation. "Commander Kai Reynolds of the Earth Federation." He noticed other figures standing at a distance, all female with the same purple-tinted skin, watching him with expressions ranging from fear to fascination. "My ship malfunctioned. I meant no intrusion." A younger woman stepped forward, her features similar to the Empress but with a softer expression. "Sister, this could be the opportunity we've waited for," she said excitedly. "After centuries of isolation, perhaps the universe has sent us a sign." "Patience, Isabel," Empress Aya cautioned. "We know nothing of his kind or his intentions." She turned back to Kai, her expression unreadable. "Our histories speak of a time before the Great Separation, when our ancestors chose isolation from the galaxy's conflicts. We have not seen a male being of any kind in over 5 centuries as our reproduction evolved beyond such necessity." Kai's scientific mind raced at the implications. A society of only women, that's fascinating from an evolutionary standpoint. "You will remain under observation," Empress Aya declared, "until we determine whether your presence threatens our way of life." She gestured to guards positioned near the door. "Take him to the guest quarters under supervision." As they led him through corridors of crystalline architecture, Kai caught glimpses of an advanced civilization built into the natural formations of the planet. Everything pulsed with bioluminescent energy, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. He noticed the younger royal watching him with undisguised curiosity. "I'm Princess Isabel," she whispered when the guards weren't looking. "Don't fear my sister. She protects our people fiercely, but she is fair." Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Is it true there are many like you among the stars? Men and women, living together?" Kai nodded carefully. "Billions across thousands of worlds." Isabel's expression turned wistful. "How wonderful that must be." Before she could say more, the guards ushered him into a chamber with transparent walls clearly designed for observation. As the door sealed behind him, Kai looked out at the alien city stretching to the horizon and wondered if he would ever see Earth again. The Violet Court. The crystalline chamber where Kai had spent the night glowed with soft ambient light as he awoke to find several Nexian attendants waiting silently. "The Empress requests your presence in the Grand Court," announced the tallest. One, her voice melodic yet formal. "You will follow and make no sudden movements." Kai straightened his salvaged uniform as best he could, feeling strangely self-conscious. "Lead the way," he said with a diplomatic smile that seemed to confuse the guards. They escorted him through vast corridors where other Nexians stopped to stare, their whispers following him like shadows. The architecture grew increasingly elaborate, with spiraling crystal formations and pulsing energy conduits that seemed alive with purpose. The grand court took Kai's breath away. A massive dome of transparent crystal revealed the lavender sky above, while the floor was inlaid with what appeared to be flowing liquid metal that rippled with each footstep. Empress Aya sat upon an elevated throne with Princess Isabel standing to her right. Both wore ceremonial attire that shimmered with embedded energy crystals. "Approach Commander Reynolds." Empress Aya's voice carried effortlessly across the chamber. The dozen council members arranged in a semicircle watched him with expressions ranging from curiosity to open hostility. Kai walked forward and stopped at the designated position marked in the flowing metal floor. He opted for a respectful bow rather than assuming their customs. "Thank you for your hospitality, Empress Aya." A murmur ran through the assembled council. "It speaks with deference," remarked an older Nexian with elaborate facial markings. "Perhaps it is trainable. I assure you I'm quite capable of understanding complex concepts," Kai replied, keeping his tone even, "including respect for cultures different from my own." Princess Isabel failed to suppress a smile, which she quickly hid when her sister glanced her way. "Tell us, Commander." Empress Aya leaned forward slightly. "Why should we not consider your arrival a prelude to invasion? Your kind has never respected boundaries, from what our ancient records tell us." Kai considered his response carefully. "Humanity has evolved much. Since your ancestors chose isolation, we explore to learn, not conquer. I was on a scientific mission when my ship malfunctioned. If you allow me to repair my communication systems, I can arrange to leave without revealing your location." A slender Nexian with short-cropped hair stepped forward. "Empress, I must object. This male could be lying. Their kind has always been deceptive. Our ancestors sealed our world for good reason." "Your concerns are noted, General Cooper," Empress Aya replied, "but we must base our decisions on evidence, not ancient prejudice." She turned to another council member. "Dr. Chen, what have your preliminary examinations revealed?" A Nexian with intricate silver patterns adorning her purple skin consulted a crystalline tablet. "His biology is remarkably compatible with our own, despite obvious differences. His neural patterns suggest he speaks truthfully about his intentions. Most fascinating is that despite our evolutionary divergence, our species appears to share common ancestry." Princess Isabel spoke up. "Sister, this could be an unprecedented opportunity to learn about the galaxy without risking our security. One human poses no threat to our civilization, unless he carries contaminants or transmits our location to others," countered General Cooper, her hand resting on what appeared to be a weapon. Empress Aya raised her hand, silencing the debate. "Commander Reynolds, you claim to respect boundaries, yet you crossed ours, albeit unintentionally. We cannot risk exposure to the galaxy until we determine whether coexistence is possible." She stood with fluid grace. "You will remain as our guest while Dr. Chen continues her research and while we verify your claims." "And if I'm telling the truth?" Kai asked. "Then we shall consider the possibilities that your arrival presents," the Empress replied, her eyes meeting his with an intensity that seemed more personal than diplomatic. As the council dispersed, Princess Isabel approached with Dr. Chen following close behind. "Commander, I've been assigned to show you our scientific facilities," Isabel said, her enthusiasm barely contained. "Dr. Chen has many questions about Earth and human society." Dr. Chen bowed slightly. "If you would permit a complete biological analysis, Commander, it would advance our understanding considerably." "As long as it doesn't involve anything too invasive," Kai replied with a cautious smile. As they led him from the chamber, Kai noticed Empress Aya watching. Their departure, her expression unreadable yet somehow troubled. The weight of her gaze followed him down the corridor, and he wondered what thoughts stirred behind those enigmatic amethyst eyes. Later, as Dr. Chen conducted her scans in a laboratory filled with technology both familiar and utterly alien. Princess Isabel leaned closer than strictly necessary. Is it true human males and females form pair bonds based on emotion rather than genetic optimization? She whispered. We call it falling in love, Kai explained. It's considered quite important where I come from. How fascinating, Isabel replied, her eyes wide with wonder. Perhaps you could tell me more about this concept when my sister isn't watching so closely. Dr. Chen cleared, her throat pointedly. Princess, remember the protocols for interacting with the specimen. Kai caught Isabel's eye and saw something there that transcended their different worlds, something that made him suddenly less eager to find his way home. Forbidden knowledge. 3 weeks had passed since Kai's arrival on Nexus Prime, and he found himself increasingly integrated into the daily rhythms of the Crystal City. Dr. Chen's laboratory had become a second home as she meticulously documented every aspect of human physiology and psychology. Your endocrine system fascinates me, Commander, she said while analyzing his latest blood sample. The interplay between testosterone and emotion contradicts everything in our historical records about males. Maybe your records were biased, Kai suggested, watching as the purple-skinned scientist manipulated holographic representations of his cellular structure. History is usually written by those with specific viewpoints. Dr. Chen nodded. Thoughtfully, the Great Separation occurred during a time of galactic conflict. Our ancestors chose isolation, and eventually our biology adapted, removing the need for male genetic contribution. She hesitated, but perhaps certain cultural memories were preserved that painted your gender in unfavorable terms. Propaganda survives longer than facts, Kai remarked, earning a surprised glance from the scientist. Their conversation was interrupted as Princess Isabel swept into the laboratory, her silver-embroidered gown catching the crystalline light. Dr. Chen, the Agricultural Council requires your expertise on the new hydroponic systems, she announced, with practiced formality. I'll supervise our guest until your return. Dr. Chen seemed skeptical but gathered her instruments. Very well, Princess, but remember the Empress's directive about maintaining scientific objectivity. With a knowing look, she departed, leaving them alone. As soon as the door sealed, Isabel's formal demeanor melted into excitement. Finally, she exclaimed, I've been trying to speak with you privately for days. She produced a small crystal device from her pocket. I've been studying your Earth languages, fascinating structures. Kai smiled at her enthusiasm. Your English is already perfect. I've always had an aptitude for communication. Isabel moved closer, lowering her voice. But that's not why I arranged this moment alone. I want to show you something forbidden. She led him to a concealed panel in the laboratory wall, which slid open at her touch, revealing a narrow passageway. The ancient transit system, she explained. From before the city was rebuilt, most have forgotten these exist. Should we be doing this? Kai asked, even as he followed her into the dimly lit tunnel. Probably not, she admitted with a mischievous smile that transformed her regal features. But how else will you understand who we truly are? The passage opened into a vast underground chamber filled with artifacts, clearly preserved from before the Nexian isolation-era technology artwork, and most surprisingly historical records displayed on crystalline tablets. This is the true history vault, Isabel whispered. Only royal family members know of its existence. She activated a display showing images of ancient Nexians, both male and female, interacting with various alien species. Before isolation, we were part of the galactic community, trading cultural knowledge, scientific advancements. Kai studied the images, fascinated. What changed? War. Isabel's expression darkened. A conflict that threatened to consume all advanced civilizations. Our ancestors chose to remove Nexus Prime from galactic maps using technology that bent space around our star system. She moved to another display. Over generations, our biology changed, adapting to isolation. Eventually, males weren't born anymore as our reproduction evolved. And now? Kai asked gently. Isabel looked at him, her eyes reflecting complex emotions. Now we've been safe for centuries but stagnant. My sister sees it though she wouldn't admit it publicly. That's why she hasn't simply imprisoned you. Or worse, she senses what I do. That perhaps isolation has run its course. Their conversation flowed effortlessly as Isabel showed him more historical artifacts. Each revelation brought them physically closer, until Kai became acutely aware of her proximity, the subtle fragrance that reminded him of earth orchids. "What's it like?" she asked, suddenly, to feel attraction to experience what our ancestors called romance. Kai hesitated, uncertain of the cultural implications. It's powerful, sometimes overwhelming. It starts as curiosity, then grows into something that feels essential. Like gravity, Isabel whispered, drawing two beings together despite all logical reasons to maintain distance. Exactly like that. Kai agreed, their eyes meeting in silent understanding. The moment stretched between them charged with unspoken possibility, until a soft alert chimed from Isabel's communication device. "Dr. Chen is returning," she said reluctantly. "We should go." As they hurried back through the secret passage, Kai's mind raced with implications both scientific and personal. He had come to Nexus Prime by accident, but was beginning to wonder if perhaps there was purpose in their meeting. That night, as he lay in his quarters, staring at the alien constellations visible through the crystal ceiling, Kai sensed a presence. His door slid open, revealing not Princess Isabel but Empress Aya herself, her regal bearing somehow more vulnerable in the dim light. "Commander Reynolds," she spoke softly. "There are questions I must ask you. Questions I cannot voice before my council, or even my sister." She entered his chamber, the door sealing behind her. "Questions about what it means to be human, about connection, and about why I find myself thinking of you when my attention should be elsewhere." Kai sat up slowly, aware that this midnight conversation would change everything. "I'll answer as honestly as I can, Empress." "Aya," she corrected him. "Tonight I am not here as your captor or as ruler. I am here as someone seeking understanding." Her amethyst eyes held questions that transcended worlds, and as Kai began to answer, he realized he was crossing boundaries far more significant than mere interstellar space. Heart of the Empire. The royal gardens glowed with bioluminescent flora as Kai walked beside Empress Aya, their conversation flowing more naturally than either had expected. "Your world is beautiful," he said, watching light pulse through transparent flowers, like nothing I've ever seen. "We've cultivated harmony with our environment for centuries," Aya replied, her usual formality softening. "Though perhaps at the cost of other connections." Her amethyst eyes met his briefly before looking away. Their midnight conversations had become a secret ritual over the past week. Aya arriving after the palace quieted to ask about Earth humanity and increasingly personal matters. The powerful empress who commanded an entire civilization showed vulnerability only in these private moments. "Dr. Chen tells me your ship's communication system could be repaired." Aya mentioned casually, though Kai sensed the weight behind her words. "With the right materials, yes," he confirmed, "though I find myself less eager to leave than I once was." Before she could respond, an urgent signal chimed from her royal communicator. Empress General Cooper's voice sounded strained. "We have an emergency. The Western outpost reports unusual energy signatures, possibly a breach, in our isolation field." Aya's expression transformed instantly back to the untouchable ruler. "Secure the palace, I'll convene the council immediately." She turned to Kai. "You should return to your quarters." "Let me help," he offered. "If someone else has found your world, my knowledge could be valuable." She hesitated, then nodded. "Come, but stay close." The emergency council session crackled with tension as General Cooper displayed energy readings. "The signature matches nothing in our database, but shows definite artificial origin. Someone is probing our defenses." Princess Isabel entered breathlessly. "Reports from the observatory confirm it. A ship of unknown design attempting to penetrate the quantum barrier." "Could they be searching?" For you, Commander, Dr. Chen asked, causing suspicious glances from several council members. Earth doesn't have technology to track through quantum distortions, Kai explained. This is someone else. Or he's been transmitting our location secretly, General Cooper accused, perhaps using materials from Dr. Chen's lab. Isabel stepped forward defensively. That's impossible, he's been under observation. Not every moment. Cooper countered, her gaze shifting meaningfully between Isabel and Aya. The council erupted in arguments until Empress Aya rose, silencing all. Accusations solve nothing, we must address the immediate threat. Her authority was absolute. General, prepare defense protocols. Dr. Chen analyzed those signatures for weaknesses. As the council dispersed, Kai found himself pulled into a side chamber by both royal sisters. Tell us truthfully, Aya demanded. Could this be related to your arrival? My ship's emergency beacon was standard issue, Kai admitted. If it continued, transmitting after crash, someone could have detected it. Then you've doomed us all. Isabel whispered, her earlier warmth replaced by fear. Not necessarily, Kai countered. Let me contact them. If it's Earth forces, I can explain, negotiate. Aya and Isabel exchanged looks, communicating silently as only sisters could. The isolation that protected us may have made us vulnerable. Aya finally said, We've forgotten how to deal with the outside universe. An alarm blared through the palace. Perimeter breach, announced the automated system. Unknown entities detected. Too late for debate. Aya straightened her spine every inch, the warrior empress. Commander, your loyalty will be tested today. Her eyes held both command and something deeper. Choose wisely. Between two worlds. The palace trembled under attack as Kai followed Empress Aya through emergency passages. They're not Earth forces, he shouted, recognizing the energy signatures. Those are scavenger raiders. They strip. Isolated worlds of technology. How do you know this? Aya demanded, still suspicious. I've fought them before. Kai explained. They follow distress beacons, hoping to find crashed ships, then take whatever they can from nearby civilizations. General. Cooper appeared with a squad of guards. Empress, the eastern sector is compromised. They're after the power core. Commander Reynolds will assist us, Aya announced to Cooper's obvious displeasure. He has experience with these raiders. Fighting. Alongside the Nexian forces, Kai demonstrated Earth combat techniques, helping repel the initial wave. Princess Isabel joined them, coordinating defense systems with surprising tactical skill. Their ships are vulnerable at the propulsion junction, Kai explained as they regrouped in the command center. If we can reconfigure your energy weapons to target that specific frequency, Dr. Chen worked frantically at the controls, implementing now. The battle raged for hours until finally the raiders retreated, their ships damaged by the reconfigured defenses. The victory came at cost, with sections of the beautiful Crystal City in ruins and several Nexians injured. In the aftermath, Kai found himself summoned to the private royal chambers where both Aya and Isabel waited. You fought for us, Aya stated simply, when you could have used the chaos to escape. I couldn't leave you to face them alone, Kai replied honestly. Not when I care about what happens here. His eyes moved between the sisters to both of you. The council is divided, Isabel explained. Some believe we must strengthen isolation. Others argue this attack proves we can no longer hide from the galaxy. The decision ultimately falls to me, Aya said, her voice carrying the weight of generations, as does another matter. She approached Kai. You've brought change to our world, Commander. Some unwelcome, some perhaps necessary. What happens now? He asked. Your ship has been repaired. Aya revealed. You may return to Earth if you wish, or... She hesitated uncharacteristically. You may stay as our first ambassador to the stars, helping us rejoin the galactic community carefully on our terms. Isabel moved closer, her hand finding his. Stay, Kai. Help us understand your world as you've come to understand ours. Kai looked between them, feeling the pull of two worlds, Earth with its familiar comforts and Nexus Prime with its unexpected connections. He thought of the growing bond with Isabel, her curiosity and warmth. the complicated feelings developing between himself and the enigmatic Empress, the possibilities of bridging two civilizations. "I'll stay," he finally answered. "Not just as an ambassador, but as someone who's found something worth more than returning home." Empress Aya's usually guarded expression softened. "Then we begin a new chapter, one written together." As the three stood in the crystal chamber overlooking the recovering city, Kai realized some crashes weren't accidents, but destiny. Across the vast emptiness of space he had found not just an alien world, but a place where his heart finally belonged. Among the stars and the violet-skinned Empress and Princess, who had captured it completely. "To new beginnings," Isabel whispered, taking his hand while Aya placed hers atop theirs, completing a bond that transcended worlds. The purple light of Nexus Prime's setting sun bathed them in its glow, promising dawn would bring a future none of them could have imagined alone.